And good morning. It's a bit of an odd one because this is the first time we've done a brunch version of Last Orders. Hi, Craig. Hi, Wayne. How are you?
Yo, thank you.
It's been a while.
It has.
Wayne went out to be a pro baller in that Germany after we found out eventually where he was going.
That was short-lived.
Well, we'll get onto that in a sec. And Craig, you've been playing for the Night Hawks.
Yeah.
So, in a standard sort of like Last Orders fashion of sorts, what are you drinking, Craig?
I am drinking tea with 2 sugars, which is a far cry from the usual Friday night cocktail of beverages.
Well, this is it. We're versatile. We can mix it up a little bit. Wayne,
this is just fizzy water.
Fizzy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never understood folk that chose fizzy water. You've got the fizz like Coca-Cola, but it's like doesn't taste of anything. But if that's what you're into,
there we go. That's what I'm about.
That's it. Soon you'll be putting mayonnaise on chips after you spent a long enough time out in Germany. So we'll push on. Normally we do like drinks and snacks, but it's brunch. So unless anyone's got like a little croque monsieur going on or something, I think we'll.
I did debate doing some crumpets, but I didn't have time.
Oh, crumpets!
Yeah.
So yeah, I've just had some toast, and that's good enough for me. I'll have a little bite before I go to the gym. I'm not going to lie, this is so strange talking like we're not getting drunk because we're responsible adults. There you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, the kind of we're starting this back up again because unfortunately, Handsome Wayne has suffered injury. I mean, everybody's suffered injury at some point in their careers. I mean, I've got no knees left. It's a pain, but yeah. So we'll just go right into it, Wayne. I mean, what's happened and how are you feeling, bud?
So in a game that we had recently. We were playing the Polish national champions. I was on a pass rush. I was working off the edge, sort of got past the offensive tackle and planted with my left leg. And as I planted my foot, the running back came to kick me out. And that caused me to roll my ankle and twist my knee. So rolling my ankle caused me to tear a ligament in my ankle. And twisting my knee caused me to dislocate my fibula and also rupture my ACL.
Nice.
So my knee's in a bit of a bad way now, and I'm just currently sitting looking like RoboCop.
Oh, blimey!
Nice.
So it's also ankle brace. I don't know how to navigate this. Ankle brace.
Get that wrong, and we just get a nut shot.
Don't injure yourself worse by wiggling your leg around the camera.
Could you imagine me having to justify myself to the team doctor? How have you managed that? I was shimmying around on the stool.
Ow. So, I mean, it's an odd thing. If you're brand new to sport or American football, you've not been injured before. Did it click on straight away when you did it, what you'd done or how it felt? Or was it like what's going on there?
Immediately obvious because I felt my knee rearrange itself.
Nice.
I mean, as I say, the fibula dislocated, so I felt everything sort of shifting there. And having looked at the MRI, there are bone bruises on both ends of the bone. So where the femur meets the tibia, the problem was there was a bone bruise on this side, so it must have hit the side and then come back.
Nice.
So it sort of really messed itself up there. So nice. I was very much aware. So I mean, if you look at the film of it happening, you can see as soon as it happens, I go down and I'm just holding onto my knee, hoping nobody lands on me because I knew it was already in a bad way.
Yeah.
When this happened, I feel like it would only have exacerbated it. So yeah, I was in a pretty vulnerable state.
Okay. So what happened after that? You got.
Well, I mean, the doc came onto the field and was just like, Wayne, can you turn over for me? And I was just like, no, I'm going to need a minute. And I was there for a couple of minutes until I composed myself, rolled me over. He saw what happened, and then he sort of pushed it and straightened my leg at the same time. And then the fibula went back in, and the pain, oh my goodness, it just dissipated rapidly. It was overwhelming, honestly. It was amazing because up until that point, it was probably, I'd probably say it was the worst pain I've endured, but Yeah, as soon as he relocated it, oh, what a relief!
Really?
And then I was, I was in much higher spirits then. I was having a bit of a laugh with the guys, messed about and whatever. And then I was just sitting on the sideline for a bit, and then got carted off. And went and got X-rays, and then 2 days later had an MRI to find out what had actually happened. And now I'm just over a week. Just over a week now. Just dealing with his knee brace situation.
I was going to say, what's the recovery time on that?
Considerable. So the ankle injury, they've said like 6 weeks, and that should repair itself. But the knee needs to be reconstructed. Just a standard ACL reconstruction. Everything else is clean. The PCL, LCL, the meniscus is all fine apparently. So it's just the ACL that needs to be reconstructed. But that's going to be like 9 to 12 months post surgery.
Oh man!
But they say I've got like 4 to 6 weeks pre-surgery, because they need to wait until the swelling reduces and the range of motion gets. So I need to get back to 120 degrees of flexion, which I don't know. I'm about 100 at the moment, so it's going to be a little while.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And I mean, there's obviously. I mean, obviously, this is like a mental health show.
Yeah.
And I hate to ask this, but for the folk out there that are watching, you're obvious. When did it kind of kick in that I've done something bad and this is going to take me out of the game for a while? Was that straight away?
Honestly, as soon as it happened, I felt my knee do its thing, like rearranged. I literally felt everything shift.
Yeah.
And as soon as that happened, I was like, no, this is me done. I was very much aware of the fact that it was a significant injury.
And what happened? I mean, in your thing, you go, that's it. I've come out to gym.
In addition to like just trying to deal with the pain, I was just incredibly annoyed. I was just, and as soon as I went down, I don't know whether it would be documented on the film, but I was just shouting to myself, I can't, using profanity, obviously, just, hitting the ground and just being, annoyed, let's say.
Yeah.
That's where I was at. Yeah. Because I knew at that point it was,
So you've come off the field now, you've looked at what you're doing, and they've told you this is knackered, that's knackered, all the bits and pieces need reconstruction.
No. I mean, at the time they thought it was just the fibula was dislocated, and they were hoping, as was I, that them relocating it was the extent of the injury. But given the fact that I felt everything shift, I was pretty convinced it was severe.
Yeah. So I mean, once the dust has settled, and they've said you need ACL reconstruction, you need to look at this, and it's 12 months. Yeah. I mean, we'll try and kind of look at it in a positive spin, because obviously you're disappointed, but how are you going to try and keep yourself pushing through? I mean, for the boys and girls out there watching?
Honestly, I tore my ACL previously, but it wasn't ruptured, so I didn't need surgery, and that put me out for, I think it was about 6 months. Honestly, my memory of it is, questionable, but it was a good amount of time. And I've tried since doing it, trying to think about like the process I went through then, and I can't really remember. But where I'm at now is, for the vast majority of my time, I'm just sitting with my leg elevated. I've been told I can't do any sort of physical activity, so I'm not going to the gym. I mean, granted, after I did it, the first day I went to the gym and just did an upper body session.
Yeah.
But having spoken to the doctor since, after finding out from the MRI that I've ruptured it, he said, you need to just wait for the swelling to reduce. And to do that, you need to just be sitting with it elevated, which is what I'm doing all the time. I'm now getting like daily rehab. So we got some compression trousers, which you just lie in. So I'm sitting there for an hour every day with my legs up in the air with these compression trousers on. So that's, with regards to recovery, that's all I can do. So for me, it's been like, as you say, obviously it's been disappointing, but I just feel like I've lost my schedule. So I can't go to the gym, and that's where I get rid of a lot of any sort of, negativity, and that's sort of obviously, you get the release of endorphins, and that's something which I'm now lacking. And, honestly, it's bugging me out a little bit, being just sitting in the room with my leg up in the air, because it's been just over a week now. And like, I don't really have much control. in what I'm able to do. I mean, hopefully, as and when things progress, I'll be able to control, the intensity with which I do my walking or, light exercises. But currently, I have no real control of anything. I've literally just got to lie here and let my body do things.
Yeah.
So being robbed of that control is, is difficult.
That was the worst thing for when I broke my leg as well. Just having to just sit there and there was nothing you could do. And having Abby basically had to run around, do everything for us. It was mortifying. Like to the point where like she was having to like help lift me in and out of the bath just to have a wash sort of thing. It was soul destroying. Hated every second of it.
So I mean, looking at yourself, Craig, you've went through this. I mean, I was there when your ankle decided it didn't want to be an ankle anymore. I mean, how did you get through it, and then obviously working your way back up to full strength?
Oh, it was tough, to be fair. Mine was the same similar as Wayne. As soon as it happened, I knew I'd done it. I basically heard it crunch. I literally heard it crunch. I think the guy who tackled us must have heard it as well, because on the video you can see me straight away with my hand up and him waving the medics over as well. So he must have heard it crunch as well. I thought it was my ankle, and it turned out it was me up part of my fibula. It was tough, I'll be honest. First off, it was hard because obviously we did it in the quarterfinal. I did it in the quarterfinal with us, and I'm not scared to admit it. I bloody cried in the first aid room because I knew it was bad. I 100% knew it was broke, or I knew something had broke, and then I knew chances are we were going to get to the final, which we did, and I knew that I wouldn't be able to play in it, and soul destroying for me. That was probably the most difficult part. Then having to go and stand on the sideline on the final and watch you guys play, and then not help when we got beat as well. That was tough. Again, I'll be honest. People might think I'm stupid for it, but the runners-up medal, I binned mine because I had nothing. It's not a good memory for us. It's not even something I can say. Oh, I played in the final. I stood on the sideline in the final, and it's just not something I wanted to look back on, sort of thing. But after that, it got better. So I took some positive changes for myself. I worked harder in the gym than I've ever done before, and got in the best shape I have from it. And if it wasn't for me breaking my leg, I probably would never have pushed myself that much in the gym, sort of thing. And that's definitely helped me. It helped my game no end. And then obviously I made the jump up to the Prem, play with the Nighthawks, and again, I don't think I would have made that decision if I break my leg, because I remember having the conversation with myself at the time, thinking, well, if I've just broke my leg, I've always wanted to try playing the Prem. If I've just broke my leg, who's to say it's going to happen again, and then I don't actually get the chance to do it? Right. So that's sort of what pushed me over the edge to take the jump, sort of thing, and I'm glad I did now, really.
So what's the next bit for you then, Wayne? Are you staying out in Germany, or what's happening?
I mean, currently I'm just doing these daily treatments, trying to get the inflammation down as quickly as possible. So probably 5 days ago, the doc actually drained, it was 116 cc's of blood out of my knee, which obviously dropped the swelling considerably. So I'm getting my knee assessed today to see where it's at, and hopefully given some exercises then so that I can actually start doing stuff. But realistically, I'm just waiting, really. But I'm looking to get surgery. They said about 4 to 6 weeks, and I'll be getting the surgery out here, and then we'll just see what happens, I suppose.
Fair play. Well, there you go. There's a message there from Mr. Price, Mr. GH himself. How are the club helping you?
Oh, the club have been really good, actually. As I say, I mean, the reason why I want to stay out here is because I know the treatment that I've been getting is better than what I would have received in the UK. So, I mean, obviously the team covered me with, insurance, and yeah, I've been looked after. I mean, they sorted me out with a brace both on the ankle and the knee. I'm currently wearing a sleeve, compression sleeve, and the compression treatments at the physio I've literally been having daily. And I I don't remember getting anything like that whatsoever when I was in the UK. So yeah, for my recovery, I think it's best I stay out here and focus on that.
Good on you.
Despite feeling isolated a little bit, I feel like as long as I can deal with that, then I'll be able to benefit physically.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, if you are bored, I mean, we could look into some more lunchtime, brunch time last orders for anyone who comes on. But while we're on this, we are going to bring in, Mr. Alex Linkowski. How are you, bud?
Morning. How are we doing? I'm doing very well.
Bad. Good on you. So apparently, I've been told your story is very similar to Wayne's. So what's happened with yourself? To Craig's. Apologies. Go on. What's your version, bud?
I went and broke my ankle, got that busted up quite nicely in a game against Edinburgh, and I think for me, my situation was like my entire job, my livelihood, everything I do depends on me being physically competent as an S&C coach and working with athletes, being in a gym as a personal trainer as well. So that kind of all went out the window. I went into hospital in Birmingham. Initially, so my ankle was basically, my foot was pointing pretty much the other way. There's a great photo by Adley, our photographer, who captured it in the moment, which was pretty spot on from her.
Nice.
So it was one of those, again, like both of you guys, straight away as soon as it happened, what's going on. Unlike Wayne, I basically, as I hit the ground on contact, it popped back. So I didn't feel a thing. I was just kind of lay there and didn't really move. And I think that's the important thing. Like, if it's a bad one, you don't move. Like, you see in football all the time, if guys are rolling around, like 3 roly-polies, like, there's not a chance. If your leg's pointing the other way or hanging off, there's not a chance you do that. I got moved to a hospital in Birmingham, and it was at that point it kind of started to set in as to what the injury was and what had happened, and it started to hurt a little bit at that point. And it was when I was in a wheelchair and got wheeled into the x-ray room, and the nurse just said, "Oh, just jump up onto the table for me." And I'm like, nah.
Are you kidding me?
I genuinely said, I said, "Yeah, okay, just give me a minute." And she got really impatient with me as well, actually. So it got to the point where I just had to kind of like balance myself up and got on there, and they did the x-ray, wheeled me through to the main kind of A&E waiting room, where I'd been given this wheelchair that has like, the extendable So I'd got my foot up on that, but my actual like tib and fib was kind of not completely supported, so my foot was actually hanging off the end of it.
Nice.
We had to pretty much push me next to some of the actual chairs. I had to get someone to move and stand up. It wasn't a patient. They were just sat there waiting for someone. And I rested my heel on that. And, I was ringing around my clients saying, "I'm not coming in tomorrow."
Yeah.
One of them phoned me back. I think I nearly passed out while I was on the phone. Got transferred after all that. Went back up to stay with my girlfriend and her parents at their place in Manchester, and was given an appointment for Wythenshawe the next morning. Went in, and at that point they told me like the extent of it, how bad it was. It needed surgery. Admitted me with the intention of operating that day, and I was in there for another 8 days before they could actually do anything.
Jesus. Wow. So how did you, for that period of 8 days? Because I know for me, it's been, I feel like, secluded, despite being in a house with like 10 other dudes. Oh, there he goes. Despite being in a house with 10 other dudes, I feel like very, very secluded. Not because there's not people around or interacting, just because I'm unable to sort of like do anything.
Yeah.
I feel like everything's been taken away. So what were you doing, mentally for those 8 days?
I got my iPad. Sorry, I was watching the New Zealand All Blacks All or Nothing, like just
nice. Okay,
anything that I could do to keep my head in sport and just like try and get my mindset right in terms of what I was going to do next. I got girlfriend's parents, we got them to bring me a dumbbell. So I was doing exercises in my hospital bed, and I would like you, Wayne, just waiting for the swelling to go down with it elevated at about 45 degrees. And it's like every morning the surgeons came round, had a look and had a chat and just wandered off, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then actually there was one sort of like 6 days in where she said, right, we're doing it. So I was like, you get starved pretty much all day. You're not on any food.
Yeah.
And then she came in at like 6 o'clock in the evening. I'd not eaten a thing all day. And she was in her scrubs and she went, I'm really sorry, but I can't do it. I've got to go and operate on someone else, otherwise they're going to die. So I was like, yeah, crack on.
Wow.
I mean,
so that another day gone. So it's just,
that's no fun.
I got lucky with mine in that I didn't have to actually have an operation, but I was told yes and no for an operation for about 2 days. So originally they said, no, you don't have to have an operation, it's fine. Then, so I was at Whiston Hospital. I transferred to Leighton Hospital, that was closer to where I live. Went in there. Then they were telling me, have you had anything to eat today? Because we're going to operate on you. When I'd just been told like 8 hours before I wasn't going to be operated on. So I was like, what's going on here? Then a couple of hours later, they came back and said, no, we can't get you into theatre today, so we're not going to do it. You have to come back tomorrow. Then I came back the next day. Then I came back the next day, and they made me do an X-ray of me standing on my broken leg, so you can see. They made me stand on it. So they said they wanted to make sure my ankle hadn't shifted. So if I was stood on it, it gives them a proper X-ray of how my ankle's sitting. They were saying. So I went into the X-ray room. And I remember the nurse go, he wants you to stand up. And I went, excuse me? She went, when did you do it? I went, yesterday. She was like, what? She was like, yeah, like I broke my leg yesterday. She's like, hang on, I need to check this. And she had to go ring the doctor. He was like, yeah, like stand up on it. So basically this nurse had to like sort of give me something to balance myself on while I stood up on my broken leg so they could take an X-ray. And then a few hours after that, I found out that they weren't going to operate. But that was not my standing up on that for anyway.
When you're being asked to stand on your now broken ankle, I mean, do you lose confidence in that doctor? I mean, where do you go there?
My head went. I had because no one told me before. I went into the X-ray room. She went, "Oh, you've got to stand up," and I just looked at her and went, What? I said, I can't. It's broken. I can't stand up. And she's like, that's what she said. Like, when did you do it? I said, like, yesterday. And she was like, that's not right. And then she had to ring around people. And then she was like, no, he wants you to stand up on it. I couldn't believe it. I was literally screaming bit as much as they were taking the X-ray.
Yeah.
So one thing that you said there, Alex, was you wanted to keep your head in sport. So even though obviously your foot's been pointing the wrong way, you're in hospital, you've had 8 days of being, I hate this, and I've done this, we've done it through sport. Your thing was, don't care, I'm going to go back. So was that always in the back of your mind of, I've knackered it, but I'm going to get better and get back?
100%. I mean, I had quite a few people coming and visiting me. I was always speaking to people. I was always doing something. And it was at that point I thought, well, you know what, my career, my job, everything I do is dependent on me learning around these kind of things. So I just started studying everything, looking at the nature of the injury, what I needed to do rehab wise. And I think all that kind of stuff and understanding your injury actually helps you get to the phase of acceptance where
absolutely,
you get it. Up until that point, you're going through the same stages as you would go through with grieving, because ultimately.
Oh, it's all right. You're still alive.
Got me.
Oh, there you go. Your audio's gone. You're back. There you go.
Someone keeps ringing me that won't bugger off. Sorry. Ultimately, as an athlete, you've lost something. As an athlete, as a performer, whatever level you're at, whether it's recreational, whether it's for fun, social, or even, with some of my guys who are playing at a very high level that have got a career around it, you've lost something, you've lost out, and you've got to figure out what it is and how can you kind of compensate and work through that. Certainly understanding the nature of your injury, and even though you've got physical limitations at that moment in time, there are things that you can do that will either help speed things up, whether it's eating well, supplementing right. I did a lot of reading around kind of if you want to get into the hippie voodoo kind of stuff, but introspective healing, where you actually visualize like the real small minor components in your body doing things, doing the work. That was
and just, visualization of reps and stuff as well is, incredibly helpful.
Yeah,
I think we spoke about that before, actually, didn't we, Wayne? I'm sure.
I wouldn't be surprised. Visualization is a big thing for me. I do a lot of it. Yeah.
Well, do you want to expand upon it for the folk out there that you may not have caught that? So explain what you mean.
Yeah. So, it's something that's kind of now coming more and more to the forefront of health. I think Wim Hof is probably the biggest proponent of this kind of thing, where he's demonstrated the ability to control his autonomic nervous system, which we didn't used to think, or science didn't used to think we could actually do.
Yeah.
We thought it was all in the subconscious mind and we couldn't access that part of our brain, but we can. He's done it, and he's also taught other people how to do it. And there's another book called You Are the Placebo, which goes into great detail about just helping tune your breathing in with your autonomic nervous system. Visualizing your body repairing itself actually plays quite a big component in speeding up that whole process.
Fair play. So yeah, I mean, for yourself, Wayne, what's your kind of what's your plan for the next couple of weeks then? Are you just gonna do what you can? Or?
Is, as of today, I'm going to find out from the physio where my knee's at swelling wise, and if he encourages me to do more range of motion stuff, then I'll be doing exercises to increase range of motion. I'll be doing, more like visualization stuff, and ultimately just going through the motions, and I hope trying to get some more information from the doctor as well, in addition to the physio, to find out the things I can do, or, the things I should be doing. And then just doing a lot of hoping as well, I suppose.
Fair play. But from yourselves, Craig and Alex, you do eventually push through, and you do eventually get back to playing, yeah?
Yeah, I think important thing to stress for anyone else who gets a bad injury as well is to push through the setbacks, because you will get setbacks. I had 3 or 4 where I thought I was ready to come back, tried to come back, and it was nowhere near. And it's quite easy to get in your own head and then just give up. But if you persevere through it, then you'll get there eventually.
Alex, from yourself?
Yeah, I think the big thing to understand for anyone who does suffer any injury or a severe one is like your psychological stages will change. The nature of the injury changes. What is originally a broken leg later on will become lack of movement, lack of muscular strength, lack of mobility, and it's just a complete reset. So you've got to understand that once the cast is off, like that's half the job. Like you've still got a long way to go. So be patient, relax, and you'll get through it.
Yeah, definitely.
Fair play. Good on you. Right. Well, what I was going to do,
just before we go, because we're coming to the end, I was going to just stress the importance to everyone as well of sorting out personal insurance, because best in Britball, Baffers insurance is an absolute joke, and I'm not going to start trying to plug any brokers or whatever. But I'll say now, Baffers insurance is a joke. I don't know if you looked into it, Alex, and you had your injury. I think if I actually filled in the forms, which is about 3 or 4 of them for Baffer, I would have got about £100 for breaking my leg. But I had personal insurance and got £4,000. So that's something to look into for anyone who plays the sport, because no one gets paid over here. So it's an important thing to look into.
I would 100% agree with that. I looked into. I think I would have got about 900, purely based on the fact I was in hospital for so long. But I had about 3 months previously just cancelled my previous insurance policy.
No.
That I was done with it because playing the position as a kicker, it was like, mate, nothing bad's going to happen to me. So,
dude, that's gutting.
Oh man!
And I imagine that sort of added to the whole bargaining part of the grieving process of, this is what I could have done. I should have kept my insurance running over. I should have done this. I should have done that. So I can imagine that must have been a real stinger for you.
Probably, but I didn't really think that. I just kind of went, it is what it is.
Fair play.
like made the decision that I made and just realised like that's it, got to live with it. But it just made it very challenging from the point of view I couldn't work, got no insurance payout, I got nothing. So it was a fun time.
But you've pulled through, and like, should we end on a high? I mean, you and you Craig, you both pulled through, and you're out the other side now, and back at it, and everything's all joyous and happy.
Yeah, smash it.
Yeah, happy days.
See, Wayne, it will get better, my friend. We're all here for you.
I've done it before, unfortunately.
do you know what? One of the things I would add as well, like whenever you're going through something, just go, yeah, it's bad, but compared to what? I think when I woke up from my op, I was completely like, I don't know what you guys were like, but I was completely out. I was way off, like out of space. But looked across to the next bed over, and there was a guy who just had his leg taken off. So I was like, I'm fine.
Puts into perspective, doesn't it?
Well, I was going to go through the comments for we had, you know, that one, Craig Oliphant saying feel better soon. We've got Lewis Thomas, have speedy recovery.
Hello, mate.
We have Marcus sending loves.
Sweetheart.
We have Matthew sending horrible injury.
Cheers, man.
Yannick, hope you feel better.
Hey.
Folifant. Awful lot of love for you here, my friend. Awful lot of love for you.
The Britball community.
There you go. Legatron.
He had a pretty severe knee injury as well himself.
His knee injury,
He's now working through it too.
And one for there we go. James get well soon. And Joe Nicholson.
Just seeing that. Joe, I'll tag James onto your comment, and he'll get in touch with us. That's the broker I use, and then the company that he put us in with is Aviva. And I think I ended up getting life insurance at the same time, but just purely for my injury cover, it's like 16 quid a month, and it covers you for ligaments and breaks, and it's not just for sport. If I walk outside and break my leg, then I'm covered. So I'll tag him in your comments.
Let's hope you don't.
No, let's hope we don't. I don't want to do that again.
So there we go. There we go. Oh, one last one. There from the elephant. There he is.
I get to give Craig a sneaky cuddle on Sunday.
I know, yeah. Matches. So anything else from you guys? We'll do a quick one last round. Craig, anything from yourself?
No, I think we touched on everything.
Alex, thank you for coming on. I'm sorry we only brought you on halfway through while we got through. Anything from yourself?
Pleasure coming on. Apologies for the phone calls I've been getting in the meantime.
It's all right. We'll definitely get you on again. No dramas about that. Wayne, out in that Germany there. Anything from yourself, buddy, for the folks at home?
Not a fat lot to really add on to what we've already said. Oh, there's Craig. Hello, Craig.
That's all right. I wasn't quick enough.
I suppose it's just like, what I'm going through now myself. Just, understand that there are going to be setbacks, as Craig has said, and just roll with the punches. Unfortunately, you're going to lose a bit of control, but it's the nature of the beast, and it's the risk we take every time we step onto the field or step into the ring, whatever your sport may be. It's the risk we take, and we look for sport still nonetheless. But there we are.
Damn right. So, folks, thank you for joining in on this sort of like brunchy time. We'll probably do a few more like this to keep Wayne amused during the daytime. But yeah, thanks very much for joining us. All the very best, and we'll catch you later.
Good to see everyone.
Cheers, guys.
Love you, bye.